here's a little diagram of my screen door. It is 36, the hole is 36 inches, a little bit more by about 80 inches top to bottom. So I cut 2 cedars, pieces of cedar, and they are 5.5 inches wide from here to here. So that's together 11 minus 36 gets 25. So I got 25, 25, and 25 in these 3 places. And I used biscuits when I did all of this, put it all together, and glue, and clamped it up. Here, these are 25 inches between here, and I did that so from the bottom of the screen to the bottom of the door, it's 36 inches. And it's pretty simple. It's just kind of difficult to put it all together. So I bought 3 16 feet by 6 by 1 pieces of cedar lumber, and it was really expensive, like $65 per. And this is a biscuit joiner that I use to join the boards. They're a little bit tricky I can't just glue them and expect them to stay, so I used a biscuit joiner. It helps line them up as well as hold it more securely. I'm using a number 0 biscuit, and you indicate that mark on the back of the biscuit joiner because it digs into the receiving part of the wood, and it has to be the right depth. Otherwise you just have this gap and it doesn't really sit well. So this is an example of how they go together. You take the 2 pieces that you're gonna join and you draw a line at the place where you're gonna have the biscuit. So the line is on both pieces, so you have a mark where you put the biscuit cutout on both sections, so it lines up perfectly when you go to make your cut. And there you can see that I'm pointing at the lines, and there's a mark on the biscuit joiner that guides you to set up your biscuit joiner to push into that area. So it all lines up perfectly. It's quite easy. And then you clean out those gaps that you made, those gouges that you made, so your biscuit joiner has room to fit in there very snugly. And these were quite snug, which is what you're looking for. You really want it to be a secure fit. That silver plate in the front needs to be at the right height, and the height is really dependent on the thickness of your board. But once you set that right, you try to get your biscuit dug out at, I go for the middle between the top and the bottom of the board, which in this case these were 1 inch, so like a 1/2 inch. Once you get that set, then you can find the same position for every board that you gouge out. And if you can see it, there's the blade right there, and you can kind of get an idea how it all works. So you have to glue all the parts, obviously where the biscuits are, and you glue inside the biscuit holes also, and then you clamp it up. I'm using some long Bessie pipe clamps. I think they're Bessie, maybe not. Anyway, they're pretty secure, so you have to also make sure that your piece is flat. That's what that 4x4 piece is doing. I'm clamping that on the edges so it stays nice and flat. Otherwise it's a nightmare putting these screens up there. They just don't sit flush against your door frame. So after I removed all the clamps, I sanded it starting with 80 and then I went to 220, and it's kind of rough. I mean, it's a cabin, it's rustic, this is kind of clean. I could have done something more to make it more antiquated, but I didn't. I'm gonna stain it the same color as the cabin itself, which is I think it's a cedar tan stain. We got it at Sherwin-Williams, but that'll happen later. And ready for install. So the cabin wasn't completely square, so I had to take like a 1/4 of an inch off of the bottom, which I cut outside, and then it fit perfectly. And I used some pretty heavy-duty hinges there, just 2 of them, just to keep it so it wouldn't tip, bend, go out of square, although I didn't think it would because there's just too much wood in there to keep it square. I put handles on it, and then I put a stop around the outside part and another little stop on the inside, because the wind is so strong at this cabin that I needed to make sure the door wouldn't open on its own. So I attached the screen at the top, and it's a darkish colored screen. In fact, the whole deck was screened in and it matches. I stapled it at the top and just to secure it, and then I pulled it taut, not too hard, but taut enough to take out any wrinkles or dimples in the screen. And I stapled the entire screen up, and after that I put the framing to, it's like hickory, it's about 2 inches wide, but I framed it out to cover the staples and the screen attachment. This next screen door is on the front porch of the cabin, and it's a scene of a little cabin with a cross on the hill and mountains in the distance. And I did some soju burning on this, and there's a tree on the right side of the door with a limb that goes across the top. I plan on doing some more videos on how I do the carvings, etchings, creating images on wood, including burning and things like that. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and I'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to check out the description below to see all the extra links that I have to other items. Thank you.